Hey, welcome to the Santana B Everywhere podcast. I'm your host, Santana B, and this is the Vibe Hive. This is where we interview so many interesting people in the music industry. We have such a lineup coming for you this season, so stay tuned. And I want you to take a look at this particular picture right there. Let's see if I'm pointing right, because everything's backwards. Right there. Yes. See those two handsome men? Yeah, don't freak out. Yes. One of them does look like Mohammad Ali, and you would be right about that. The taller, handsome man. I'm talking about the other handsome man there. His name is Mr. Seiyid Bilal Mohammed. Now, he worked very closely with Mr. Mohammad Ali and in the music industry in general. So we're going to do an interview with him, and we're going to sit down and chop it up, and he's got lots of good information to share. Now, I have to apologize. We recorded in a very, very noisy area. Lots of activity, so you're going to hear some beeps, and you're going to hear some, like the microwave going off, and tried to work, just work with me here. It just wasn't as quiet as I would have liked it to be. And plus, he's a very busy man. So this is a pre-recorded interview, and we talked about his time in the entertainment industry. So take a listen. But before we do that, I would love for you to like, share, and subscribe, because we have great interviews coming your way. I want you to be a part of that, and hit that bell too, so you'll know when I'm posting. That's every Wednesday. So let's get into the interview and enjoy. Oh, I forgot. There is a special surprise. There's someone that he worked with, and she's a musical artist, and her song was sampled over 80 times. Once you hear and know who the song is you'll know, because it's been in everything. Soul Child, just everything from rap to rock to pop. So I'm going to give you that hint after the break.
My name is Bilal Mohammed. Everybody knows me as Bilal Mohammed. Mm-hmm. But my full name is Seiyid Bilal Mohammed.
Can you tell us what that means?
Seiyid means really master, perfection. Bilal means pure, sincere. And Mohammed is praiseworthy or worthy of praise. It has several derivatives off of that, but it means basically worthy of praise. I've been practicing Islam since 1968, 69. Mm-hmm. I was a member of the Nation of Islam.
Malcolm X and...
Yeah.
So did you
Malcolm
know him personally?
No, I didn't know Malcolm. In fact, I never met Malcolm, but I did meet the family. I did meet Master Elijah Muhammad. I did meet Herbert Muhammad, his son, one of the sons, the other son, Imam Muhammad. And I knew everybody that part in different areas in the country that they were leaders over.
So was your family musical at all, or did you have a lot of musicians in your family?
Well, actually, my whole family has a music background. My grandfather, his name, they used to call him Puerto Rico, but his name was Norman Miller. I was named after him, okay, initially. And he was the manager of the stage manager for the Apollo Theater in those days. Yeah.
What time frame was that?
It was in the 50s. 50s.
Wow.
Yeah, and he was one of the, I don't know if it was an instrument an instrument player, or how he was, but they had a group that was called Will Masters Trio featuring Sammy Davis Jr. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That guy, Sammy, he just could do everything.
Right.
Act, sing, dance. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And my grandfather said that when they got to New York, he didn't really think that they were going to go too much further. So he took the job that was offered at the Apollo. And Sammy went on to go all the way to Vegas and become very successful. Right, part of the Rat Pack. And my uncle was, his name was David Brown. He was my mother's baby brother. And he in turn had a group that used to sing under the Righteous Brothers. They were the opening group, yeah.
Okay. Do you remember the name of the group? So did you play any instruments? Can you sing?
No, I didn't play no instruments, but my uncles did. My Uncle Howard, my Uncle Conrad. My Uncle Conrad was a saxophone player. And he was a teacher up in Spring Valley, New York after when he retired. And my Uncle Howard, he went on, he was a trumpet player. And Dizzy is the one that taught him how to play the trumpet.
Dizzy Gillespie?
The Gillespie, yeah.
Wow.
And he in turn, this is my grandmother told me, and he in turn wound up becoming one of the directors in the New York hospital system.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But my Uncle David, who was really in the entertainment, stayed in the entertainment, he passed away. So most of the family was, moving toward in the entertainment business. I don't know how I got into boxing. I got lucky, and a group of guys, it was 5 of us together. We started a company called Cornerstone.
And in what capacity were you into boxing?
I was a manager. I managed the former light heavyweight champion of the world. I was his business manager. I did all of the business. I put the business together. And I hired a guy to become his road manager. And he managed his day-to-day operation on the road.
And what was his name? Boxer.
Matthew Saad Mohammed. He's formerly Matt Franklin out of Philadelphia. When you go out front in the public's eye, you have to be as professional as possible, as you can be, and put a good face on it. And we had a few brothers that would come around. There was another brother, Saladin, that would come around all the time. And I'll tell you, we were all part of the nation. We all were in the Nation of Islam, as it was called. And we worked together with everything. And the breathing of the nation was we are one. So if I needed something, I could come to you and get it, or they could come to me and get it. We used to make so much noise that they told us we had to be quiet or else. And what he did was, Mr. Hemsley, he took a liking to us so well that he gave us an office that had enough rooms for all 5 of us to have our own office and a conference room on the 16th floor. And we were the only ones on that floor. So our office was the whole floor, So when people would come up and visit us, they thought we had a major thing going, But Hemsley put us up top there, just really to get rid of us. Yeah.
But the way you would resolve your conflicts, though, I'm sure whatever y'all decided ended up being the best for everybody.
Oh yeah, because we would make decisions and we would use a method that what we voted on. Whoever, it was 5 of us, so 5 of us had to vote. And we used a mutual consultation, consulted with each other, argued and fight with each other, but afterwards we would make the decision that's good for all. Even if it wasn't good for me, it was good for the company, or however, the decision was made by mutual consultation.
So no yes men.
No, none of us did. But we were all. That's the problem. What we had was we were all chiefs, but none of us were really Indians. You know, we all stood on our own merit. And,
But that made for a stronger company, though.
yeah.
Because I notice in the groups that a lot of people have, there are a lot of people who want to just still be a part, so they'll agree with whatever the artist says. And sometimes they are creative, but sometimes they don't know other aspects of the business. So you might want to, be in partnership with somebody who does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of the Akbar, he got put out one time. We gave him 30 days. He didn't agree, so we all voted him. We voted him out.
What was that
for
about?
30 days. I forget what the subject was. Something on a decision that he was right. He was right, but we didn't feel it was beneficial for us at that particular time.
And Akbar is your brother, right?
Right, he's one of the brothers. Yeah, it was 5 of us. Yeah. And we had a few brothers that would come around. There was another brother, Saladin, that would come around all the time. And I'll tell you, we were all part of the nation. We all were in the Nation of Islam, as it was called. And we worked together with everything. And the brethren of the nation was we are one. So if I needed something, I could come to you and get it, or they could come to me and get it. Like it wasn't like you had to do a lot of shopping. There were you could always ask your brother, and the main thing was that you kept your word, and you did what you said. As long as you kept your word, you had great credibility. And all of us had great names, good credibility in the community. So anything we needed, we could go out and get. Our first venture was with Don King, and we were buying closed circuit, which fights were being closed circuited into movie theaters back in those days, and we had to buy the rights. Closed circuit.
So that's like a pay-per-view, huh?
Exactly.
Wow.
In fact, as I was telling you, I mentioned before earlier, the people who developed the pay-per-view and this internet are the people that was working with Don King. That was the Henry Ward's, Lou Falsigno. They developed the cable, and Henry, he developed the first moonshot that we seen on TV. That was him. Yeah. Yeah, and he, and we knew all those guys. Those guys loved us, because we were young. We were all young. So the first adventure that we did with Don was we were buying closed circuit in Newark. I think Newark, Patterson, and somewhere else. I don't remember.
And that's all in New Jersey, correct?
Yeah, it was in New Jersey. And Teddy Powell was the one that did all the closed circuit at that time. So we outbidded him. But we needed 30,000. This is in the 70s, the early 70s.
Wow.
We needed 30,000 to buy the rights, because Don wasn't going to give us the rights,
Yeah, he wanted his cut.
Yeah, so we sat in Don's office for 6 months before he seen us. And so the fight was going to be, I think, in another week or two. And traditionally, the fights were always telecast in these particular theaters. So all you had to do at that time was rent the theaters. And to rent the theaters, you had to go to the RKO people who owned, I think they were Paramount or something like that, who owned all the theaters, and you rent them. So what happened was we were at a crunch. We were 2 weeks out, I should say. The fight was going to be in 2 weeks. And we hadn't even tied anything down. And I went to one of the brothers in the community who owned a restaurant, because I used to eat there regularly, you know. And I was telling him what we were doing, what we was trying to do. And his mother, you know, I was a regular, and she told him, she said, "You help them boys." And so the next day, when I went back to the office that morning, I told Akbar, who him and I really shared the office. We did most of the stuff. And that day or that next morning, they went out there and picked the money up. Gave him $32,000 cash that he had in his closet.
See, so what I'm picking up is you really need a strong team.
Yeah, you need a strong community to make.
Community, that's right. But no yes men. Nobody, you know, somebody who will tell you the truth.
Right.
Sort of like LeBron James. I noticed he has his whole crew, people that he came up with around him as his team.
Yeah.
Sort of like his community. So.
Yeah. And we did the show. The next time I did the same thing, I went to another group of brothers. Because we had a good name. All of us had good names. We were all honest. We're honest guys.
So, you know, I hear that you knew Michael Jackson's is it manager? Not manager. Quadri.
Oh yeah, I knew Quadri. Yeah.
What's his full name?
Well, Elamine, Quadri Elamine. Yeah.
So what did he do? What was he?
They were very strong. They were a very strong group of brothers that came. We were out of Newark, that came out of East Orange. We were all Muslims, and they were very strong, brother. In fact, the brother that I mentioned to you, Saladin, he was from East Orange, and really he was like their mentor. And they all came up under us, right behind us. And they developed. And Quadri is a smart brother, knows his way around, knows the business. And he went to L.A. because one brother's name was James Anderson, became Muhammad Ali's security, Richard Pryor's security, Donna Summer's security, Michael Jackson's security, and a host of other ones. In fact, he was the head of security for the Hilton in L.A. You know, he became very successful in the security business that he had because he knew the business.
How did you all deal with, and I hate to say it this way, but like jealousy? Like one person is...
No such thing as that. We didn't have that.
Oh, okay. So y'all discussed that before?
No, wasn't no need to discuss it. The guidelines is what, you know, we need to develop. And, you know, the Nation of Islam's theology was build a nation. So you got to build a society. You got to be able to take yourself into society. You know, we didn't want to be on no welfare and something. So everybody went out. If somebody took the position of security, and that was it. That was his. You know, he took that position. They learned that business like it was, and then they used the creativity that you got from the nation. So we didn't have those kind of jealousies. Those things didn't exist. Because it was a saying to say, you know, the world awaits for a wide alert, those kind of things. We all work together. And the basic was that if it had to be done, you get it done. If you had to sweep the floor, you swept the floor. If you had to manage the whole thing and you were sweeping the floor, you go manage it, you know.
So I'm sure though, you know, somebody was like, I'm security, but I don't want to do this anymore. Nobody ever said...
Well, then they picked up whatever they wanted to do. They found out what they wanted to do. Most of the guys that, like Quadri went on and became a became a manager of entertainers. I think he's still doing it. Yeah.
And what's his name again?
Quadri Elamine. Yeah.
So I heard that he did Michael Jackson.
Yeah, he managed Michael Jackson, Janet, a lot of them guys, you know. Because he was creative, you know. So you have to have that creativity. If you can't think past what you see, you know, you have to.
There's creativity
exactly. Yeah. Well, James, revolutionized the security business.
How did he do that? What did he do?
Yeah, because all of these entertainers, all of the security that you see that they have now, right? He outlined that format, that how that should be done. And most of these guys that's out here, they followed what he did. They either worked for him or they copied him. He passed away,
Was that recently or?
No, I think he passed away in 90 something. I don't recall.
Anybody else that might know who's in entertainment or boxing or sports?
Well, you got Cool in the gang. You got his brothers. They're still out there. They're visible and very viable, and really know the business. It's not an easy business, to hold on to.
Oh, I know. And you know what? When people go out there and they put their hearts and minds and creativity into song or whatever it is, whatever talent they have, that in itself is a lot. But to be able to know what to do or who to go to for any particular service that they might need as an entertainer, that is hard. So that's why it's so important that we're talking to you now.
Yeah, and Toomey was a very smart, very intelligent guy. I mean, and he went out there and he did his thing. I think he's still doing it. He runs one of these companies around here, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does a lot of TV stuff.
He does TV. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Toomey too. There's a lot of brothers out there that's in the circle that probably started with us or under us. I just decided to do something else. Yeah, I seen something greater. And at the time I lived in Paterson, New Jersey. And there was a talent show at the school. And I was part of a group. But all the other guys was picked, I wasn't.
Oh, really? So what kind of group was it? It was singing?
Yeah, we were singing. I don't even remember the name of the group. I know it was 4 or 5 of us.
So what did y'all sing?
At the school in Broadway years ago. That was.
Really? What grade were you in?
I think I was in like maybe the 3rd or 4th grade or something like that.
So what did y'all perform? Or I know you were trying out for a talent show. But...
Yeah, I think we did. We were doing the Temptations music at the time.
Oh yeah.
Other than that, I never wanted to perform. I always, I didn't want. I wanted to play the piano, take piano lessons. A guy used to come to the house and give her piano lessons, and I wanted to play. I thought I would be able to play because I used to like to mess with the piano when we had it before she started taking lessons. When I asked my grandmother, she said she couldn't afford it. Yeah. So my sister, she took 2 piano lessons that I could remember. But when I asked, I couldn't get it. But she got everything as a child. I felt like, they felt her to be special because it was only her and I. But she got everything. Rabbits when she wanted a rabbit, the dog when she wanted the dog.
So who's older?
She is. She's 1 year older than me. I never got nothing. She was always the special one. And my uncle Howard, he was like the one that pampered her the most, Her and Uncle Connie. They all did.
Uncle Connie? Yeah. What was his real name?
Conrad Hilton. Conrad Hilton Brown.
Well, tell me, Which social media do you like using, and which one do you think would be really good for a performer to use that would be more like what you did in the past?
Well, really, I noticed when I go on the web, most of the entertainment guys, they're using Instagram. But, you could use put them all together and use them all, and get the readers. That's all you got to do, But you have to really, in today's environment, you have to have a niche. You got to come with something that would get the attention, that would be noteworthy of something, But I don't see even in some of the music that's being played today. I haven't really seen a real superstar.
And it seems like everyone is copying everyone else. And I know even back in the 80s, hip hop and all, I mean, them's was fighting words. If you're trying to copy me and sound like me, that's not a good thing. Yeah, but the thing is too, if I'm an artist or a performer, how would I know that it's time to get a manager?
Well, when you realize you can't do everything yourself, and that you need assistance, someone to help. Like some guys, they'll bring on their friends and let their friends train in there, which is good, but you have to do it the way that outside of really the way that the industry does it. Not like within the industry, you hire a guy and put your guy with him.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after a short break.
Hey there, Santana B here. If you're anything like me, you're getting back to the business of taking care of your family's health. Keeping doctor's appointments and getting checkups and lab work for every member of the family. But have you thought about your teeth? Did you know a good dental care routine can help prevent things like Alzheimer's and heart disease later on? So with that information, I made sure to schedule my family's dental appointments at Minty Smiles. Minty Smiles, located at 403 West Wheatland Road in Duncanville, is a complete family-owned and operated dental facility. Dr. Nasiri and Dr. Siraj have 10 years of experience and along with their caring staff, create personalized dental health plans for every member of the family, taking new patients as young as 6 months old. Whether it's implants, crowns, fillings, or Invisalign, Minty Smiles provides care that accommodates you and your whole family. No insurance? No worries. Minty Smiles offers budget-friendly membership plans that start as low as $25 a month. They take walk-ins, are available for dental emergencies, and are even opened on Saturdays by appointment for your convenience. Minty Smiles is excellent dental care at an affordable price. But don't just take my word for it. Check out the 5-star ratings by other satisfied families on Google Ratings at www.dentistduncanville.com or give them a call today at 469-759-6964 to schedule your appointments and let the Minty Smiles family keep your family smile healthy.
Minty Smiles. Check them out if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. They're great. They have, patients all the way from Houston to go and see them. They're a great company, family-owned company. But again, welcome back to Conversation with Mr. Seiyid Bilal Mohammed. Now, remember before we started the interview, I said that I was going to give you a hint as to who he worked with as a manager. This young lady was an artist, musical artist. She sang back in the 70s, and everybody knows that the first part of her song, because it's been sampled over 80 times. And then there's some other parts of her song that have been sampled too, but her name is Taana Gardner. The name of the song is Heartbeat. So I'm going to put a link down at the bottom who sampled this, and you can see exactly how many songs use this particular song. It's amazing. And he got a chance to work with her as a manager, so I thought that was pretty interesting. Now, this is the conclusion. He's got more gems to drop. Please stay tuned and enjoy.
Okay.
Okay, so I can see is managing an artist, a musical artist, like managing a boxer?
It's basically the same. The business is the business. You have the music business, you have the boxing business. Both of them require the same thing as who you know. You have to know who and how to do what you need to get done. But in most cases, you need to have the ability to manage the entertainer or the boxer, because that lifestyle is to a degree that there's really no conformity in there. You know, it's a free business, and most of the entertainers, especially the singers as well as boxers, that they're exercising their creativity. So what would be perceived as a normal life in the normal world is not normal in the entertainment and the boxing world. But the entertainer and the boxer would think that their life is normal. You know?
So that leads into my next question. What would make you choose an entertainer or boxer over another one? Because, I mean, if you're talented, you're talented. But is there something in that entertainer or boxer that would make you say, yes, that's the one I want to manage?
You have to have an eye. You know, you have to have an eye. If you have a creative eye, you know, you can see where that person would possibly go. And when I say go, I mean advance in the career. But, you know, in most cases, you have to concentrate them as well as you on their career, on what they need to do, what they need to stay with, what they need to leave out of their lives, because we all have things in our life that we really don't need to participate in, you know. Yeah.
So, Taana Gardner, what about her? It's like, okay, yes, I want to manage her because I see some things. But what did you see exactly in her?
She had a lot of talent. She was really talented, and the brother that I can't even remember his name that produced the record, you know, he didn't have the ability to really do her, get her off the ground like he should. But he knew the business. But her boyfriend is the one that brought me in, and I seen that him and her both needed direction, but they both went off on the wrong track after that. They become getting high and stuff, and at that particular time, I was managing the light heavyweight champ. He had became the light heavyweight champ, and my concentration I put mostly on that. And the next I heard, you can't make no money in it. There's no use wasting your time.
Yes, yeah. So, as a manager, what percentage would you ask for from a boxer or an entertainer at the time?
Well, back then for boxing, they were taking 30% of fighters' purses. But I changed that. I thought that was too much. With my fighter, that they had owned 65% of him initially. Yeah. So I had to straighten that out. And what I took was 20%.
You want to be fair.
Right. Yeah. And with entertainers, it was the same thing, 20%. It's all the same kind of business.
Yeah.
It's just in a different environment, you know.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, what advice?
And mind you, I never collect a dime on Taana Gardner.
Oh, really?
Because as she began to get out to and some of the things that she was involved when I didn't want to have anything to do with it.
So do you miss it? Do you miss managing?
Yeah, you miss it sometime. But that's why I hired a guy to become the road manager. At the time, he was making $20 a week, $20 or $60 a week in the insurance business. So I trained him and showed him what to do. And he would do the day-to-day chores. Because I had arranged with Sassoon, ooh la la. Sassoon for my guy to do a commercial for modeling, because we were going to move him in that vein too, because he was built, really well built, and they were supposed to be there at 10 in the morning. They didn't get there till 3, so that's what made me hire somebody, But it took me 2 years or a year and a half to get him into shape. I used to sleep on his floor to keep him in the shape. But he would train. He would always train. That's one of the things that Taana didn't have on her. That she was dedicated. She didn't have the dedication.
So you need more than just being able to.
The vocals. You need the dedication.
Yeah. So what advice would you give a new artist coming into the business?
Be serious, but really, and put your mind to it. Don't give up. That's it, It seems very complicated because now you have the media and it looks so wide, but it's a basic. It's a basic business, You know who's hot and who's not hot, Right? Like we used to say in the boxing, if you're hot, you're hot. If you're not, you're not,
So what would you do if you had like a difficult client? Like you said, sometimes they would go in the wrong direction, but would you try to work with them to try to steer them back with the guy, the road manager?
Yeah. After that Taana situation, I just concentrated my efforts on boxing. I had another fighter. His name was Elijah, young brother. He was good too, but he needed a little tweaking. But he could fight. But he went off on the side track. There was nothing I can do, So you would try to, and there were other fighters that I actually tried to approach to get involved with, because we were in the business. We were changing the business. We were bringing the business back to really where the fighters or the entertainers would get paid, where they would make the money, not the management, and things like that, So it was a little tough with us, but we knew a lot of the players, and at the time we were really associated with Muhammad Ali. We were doing merchandising with Muhammad Ali.
Wow.
So we had an entree really from the hottest thing in the country at that time, or I should say in the world.
Muhammad Ali, how was he? I wish I could have met him in person.
Yeah, he was phenomenal.
He was the greatest.
Yeah, he was phenomenal.
Yeah, loved him.
He was very unique, very unique, very unique.
So how would you plan the work? Like, okay, so you have an entertainer, you have a fighter. How would you secure the deals for them? What would you do?
Right. Well, there's like maybe 4 or 5 facets that you had to concentrate on. One was publicizing them. You can either hire a publicist that would come in, and during those days, a publicist would cost you $15,000 a month.
Oh, and that was back in the what?
In the 70s and 80s, yeah.
Sure is much more than that now.
Yeah. And you have to get the publicist or you get the publicity themselves. You find little niches in the person's life that you can really concentrate on and publicize that. The fighter that became the champion, he was an adopted. He was adopted. He was left on somebody in his family left him on the Ben Franklin Bridge. Right. That's how he got his name. And so what we did was we publicized that, and then his family finally came out of the woodwork and that kind of thing. It was a humanist. We did a human interest story on him.
Matthew Franklin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, to publicize and to get publicists, now we have social media. So, we get likes and shares and,
Right.
Follows.
Mm-hmm.
How hard was it to publicize for?
Well, you had to do a lot of work because you got to get to the right people, and getting to the right people is the job. But we had Ali. Muhammad Ali was our entree.
So who else? Who
Everybody, all the doors were open to us. I worked with we worked with Top Rank, which was Robert Arum. Right now is probably one of the largest promoters in the world. And of course, Don King, which everybody knew Don King. And, we worked with those guys, the two top promoters. And so anything we actually needed, and I use the term we because there were 5 of us. And anything that we needed, we'd pull from those sources. Don had a executive VP named Henry Swartz. Henry Swartz was he was a genius. All of the guys that really put the things that's operating today, the cables for the cable TV, for so on and so forth, Lou Ferrigno, Conrad, all of those guys, they were right in the office every day, and we sat in the conference room for almost a year and dealt with them, and they educated us. So we kind of knew everybody who was anybody in the business. So whatever we needed, we would go. And the networks were really just springboarding then. And at the time, we were basically dealing with ABC or CBS. NBC wasn't doing too much buying at the time.
So you would publicize. You said there were 5 facets of planning out how you would get this deal.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So what are some of the other?
Well, then you would have to do the negotiation. You have to go negotiate their contract. And actually, with the situation that I dealt with then at that time, I had to negotiate the previous contract that he had, because that's the contract that they were taking 65%. So I had to go in and negotiate that, and then go to the networks, which I dealt with Bob Arum, and we turned and negotiated that. And then once he won the title, our company took him over, and we promoted him. Our company was Cornerstone, as I told you. And yeah.
And I can come up with
Yeah, our company was Cornerstone.
Cornerstone.
And each one of us had a specific job in the business. And Murad, he was the promoter. His name was Murad Mohammed, because they used to call us the brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And
but you were truly brothers, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we were all we had been in the community together since I had come in 60. Officially came in 69. Officially, I came in 68. And from that point on, we were. And this was 74, I think it was. So Bahar, and he was the matchmaker, and Akbar, he was the packager, and I did the management. I was the executive VP.
So as a young artist, how do I know? Because I know those contracts are a really big thing in the industry. How do I know when I need a manager?
Right.
Yeah. What would I look for as an artist?
Well, at that point when you're trying to let's say for an example a record, we'll do a record or become the champion or fighter or a leading fighter. You have to train, you have to practice. So mostly these entertainers and fighters, they're in the gym or in the studio. They're trying to find a record or something or find somebody. So your manager can go out and find what you need, and the hinge is not there for them. You can't do it all yourself. You need help. There's an old saying in the business that you can take these hands and work them 5 days a week, and they won't suffice your means. You have to take hands and put them around you. So that's the hands that come around you. You select someone that you think has the ability to make the right decisions with you, and those decisions they make, and they put the hands around you that you need.
And I think that's what a lot of people do when they have their own crews and stuff.
Yeah.
So securing venues to go in and perform in. What would you tell an artist or a boxer, since it's the same thing? How would you live performances?
Right.
You do have to practice in the
Right.
studio. But what would you tell maybe Taana about live performance?
That's a different aspect. That's a promoter. That's one of the persons that you need. You need someone that does the promotions. Okay? So that person that is a promoter, they will select the venue where it should be. And they go out and they select the venue, find the venue, line up the tour, and so on and so forth, because they have experience working with these people around the country. So the manager's responsibility is to pick the right one.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
You have to really have an eye, like you said before.
Yeah.
One of the things that I noticed too, as just a consumer of music and being a fan, the live performance, which is like a different stream of income, they're underwhelming. The live
Right.
performances. Do you have any suggestions to artists about performing live and what's expected?
Well, even in that's another aspect. The
Yeah.
promoter has to have someone that they work with that can do choreography to make those stages and things the way that they really, want it for the entertainers. And in most cases, some of the entertainers, they select that themselves. They hook up with someone that has the ability to put it together. It all is vision. You have to have a vision. You see the vision, and you have people that bring it into view.
So the artist has to have the vision.
Yeah,
first.
the artist is the one that really has the vision.
artists come in and they're like, I want to sound like such and such. I want to be like such and such. And there's no plan or of action after that.
Yeah, you have to have your own sound. Though most of those artists that want to sound like somebody else or tries to sound like someone else that's out there, they only make it but so far. They don't really last. You have to have your own sound, and you have to be creative, and even in that, when the creativity of the artist, they have to expound that to the manager, and the manager puts his creativity in it, and he gives it to let's say the promoter, and the promoter puts his creativity to it. You see, and then the promoter has to give it to someone that can come on the stage and put that choreography together, and et cetera, and they have to put their together. You follow me?
So every little cog of the wheel
has its own aspect, and the entertainer is really the small wheel, but it's the big wheel, but the small wheel makes the big wheel move. And the small wheel makes more revolutions than the big wheel.
So, just tell us again what you do now. And first of all, why did you leave managing artists?
I got tired. It's a very strenuous business. Very strenuous. And having a family is basically zilch in that business, in that arena, especially during the periods of time that you're hot. Unless you have tenure with your family, but taking on a new family is kind of rough. That entertainment business, that's why you see so many entertainers are married, divorced. It's a rough business. So I just got tired. And I got lucky. Ali took a liking to us, and anything we needed, he would help us do. And I met a gentleman. Ali was getting some oil from the King of Saudi, and he needed the ships to bring the oil here. And he was going to use Onassis' ships. So I went to the meeting with them, and I met Onassis' partner, right? And him and I worked together for about 3 years, just having meetings and things, coffee. I would come to New York because I was in Jersey. I lived in Newark. And we would get together. And him and I, a friend of mine, told me he had a guy that wanted to buy an airline, one of the airlines, and I took it to my friend, Adnan, and him and I began to work together. And, so at the time, Adnan and I began to work together. My friend Hakeem, who was an associate, who was a global advisor to the royal family. And it got interesting to me, So,
and I'm sure it's a lot easier than
yeah, it was right, much easier.
Yeah, artists like to work at night, they record at night, they work at night if they're doing live performances. Yeah, so I can totally understand it. So tell us what you do now, what your company is, and
I have a company now. It's called KSS, KSS Energy, Petroleum Global. We sell oil and commodities. We sell commodities around the world.
So you stayed in that business,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah. Well, I thank you for your time. Please come back, because the wealth of knowledge that you have, we want to pass that on to people who are just starting out. So again, give us your name, and we will, look you up and everything. So.
Okay. Yeah, Seiyid. I told you, Seiyid. I'm on. What is it? Abigail, LinkedIn, Dun and Brad. Yeah, I can be found.
Okay. We
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
look for
But
it.
my website is kssenergy.com. Yeah.
We're going to look you up. Thank you so much for taking the time and imparting knowledge. And
Yeah.
we definitely want you to come back on the Santana Beat
Yeah.
Everywhere show.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, guys, that's it. The end of the interview. Told you he was such an interesting person to just sit down and talk to. He's a wealth of information. Thanks for sticking around. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you next week with another exciting interview. I think you'll be very happy once you find out who it is. So thanks again.